Now let us see. When we see it here, the suspicion that begins with the spontaneous reporting will be too high. So as one progresses from the spontaneous reporting to the cohort event monitoring, the extent of the suspicion that is there, it reduces. And therefore, the one moves from the spontaneous reporting to the electronic health record mining, the quality of the signal detected or the hypothesis generated would be usually high. And moving on also, as we move from the spontaneous reporting to the electronic health recording mining, the extent of the information that is available is also proportionally increased. And because of that, the confounders, what could mislead us in the causality assessment, will also reduce. And thus, electronic health record mining stands on the top in this particular spectrum. Now, this is for the hypothesis generation. Now, how are we going to confirm this hypothesis? Now, let us see. Just as the generation, for the confirmation also we have 5 methods. And these are 5 to 6 methods. And we call them as the pharmacoepidemiological methods. It starts with something called as a cross-sectional study. And it moves to the case control study. And then we have cohort study and a randomized controlled trials and a correlation or compilation of the randomized controlled trials would lead to the systematic reviews, and applying a rightful statistics would lead to the meta-analysis. All these things would be confirming the hypothesis. But as you all know that the cross-sectional studies are easiest ones to do, but also comes with a bundle of included huge bias. So as one moves from the cross-sectional studies to the meta-analysis or the randomized control trial, the extent of the bias is also reduced. But do remember, we cannot eliminate 100% of the bias, whatever information that we are doing. But we can keep it at the minimalistic thing. And also, the quality of the data jumps from narrow to the maximum as we move on to the systematic reviews and the meta-analysis. So this is another advantage that we have with this particular system. Now let us start looking at the methods spectrum where we will be only talking about the generation. So there, as I said, that we have the spontaneous, intensified, targeted, cohort event monitoring, and EHR mining are the 5 different methods that we have. So starting with the first one, that is the unsolicited communication or the spontaneous reporting. Simply, the definition can be condensed to say that you are not looking at any particular drug. You are just moving around the patients. You find a patient complaining of reaction like fever, chills, or you see thrombocytopenia. I mean, anything that is out of the clinical picture that the patient did not complain while he was getting admitted. And then you look at the drugs that the patient has been prescribed with, and then you find some causality assessment with the time-temporal relation and the plausibility.
Sir, sorry to disturb, but the audio is not clear.
Okay, is it the same for everyone?
Yes, sir.
Hamad Ali sir, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, just let me know. Maybe the network issue, sir, but I'll try to speak as much as possible. Thank you for informing. So these drugs, again, so we will be reporting the adverse drug reaction area report. This is what we call it as the spontaneous reporting. This is what we call it as spontaneous reporting. This is the most fundamental activity that any pharmacovigilance associate can do, and this is the first and forward step in strengthening the pharmacovigilance. Now let us see what all can we report in this spontaneous reporting mechanism. Well, in the spontaneous reporting mechanism, we can report the serious adverse drug reactions and severe adverse drug reactions. We can report the adverse drug reactions that are associated with the new drugs, and we can report the reactions that are unknown before in the literature or in the package inserts. And also we can report the adverse drug reactions in the vulnerable population, specifically like children, pregnant, and elderly. So any of these things, we can report it as an adverse drug reaction through the spontaneous reporting. Do remember, the spontaneous reporting exists because you can report and you must report. And this is the only way that we can create the awareness to our fellow healthcare professionals on reporting the adverse drug reactions or ICSRs. Okay. Now, what is the difference between a serious adverse drug reaction and severe adverse drug reaction? I will leave that question to you and I'll answer that towards the end. Once you have reported, with this kind of data that has been reported, you can publish them into a scientific journal, and that can further create the awareness to the other healthcare professionals. Now look at this paper where my teachers have published even before I have taken up this course. Adverse reactions in a South Indian hospital, their severity and cost involved. As simple as this study could make into one of the beautiful Q1 journals, and see that is where the visibility increases and other healthcare professionals will also be encouraged to do the reporting. So whenever you report an adverse drug reaction, make sure that it is visible to all the healthcare professionals, and therefore you will be stimulating them to report further. So this is how we will be doing this particular projects. Now we know that in the spontaneous reporting, usually the PVPA associate or the healthcare professional, whenever they come across an adverse drug reaction, they will start to report an AVR to one of the AMCs that they are attached to. Further, they process the information and they relay that information to NCC PVPI, and from there, this information will be sent to the Uppsala Monitoring Center. And this process we are well aware. Now, the only thing that has recently changed is we have an addition of the patient or the consumer as well, who can report on their own as well, and they can follow the same thing. Now, you may look at the rare case report that we have recently published. It is amiodarone induced hyponatremia.